record now. Okay, so welcome to you all to this Understand Your Strengths workshop. My name is Georgina Hallaby, and allow me to introduce myself. I'm a mindset and well-being coach, and for me, it's always been really important to balance both outer success and inner peace. And like you, Charlotte, my background was also in advertising and business development and sales, as well as in software and marketing technology. So I've held a number of senior roles for about 25 years in both Asia and Europe. But that whole other side, that's the outer success side, the inner peace side, has led me on a journey since I was about 16 that's seen me do, being an ongoing meditator. It's seen me explore more of the left brain disciplines such as neuroscience, positive psychology, but also the right brain stuff, more like NLP and visualization. And I guess I'm going to be weaving all of that into today's agenda, which is very much deep diving into understanding your strengths. So today, you are really the stars of the show. I would encourage you to have pen and paper, because the format is going to be very much me asking you to either close your eyes and visualize or to brainstorm down on pieces of paper. If I can get the breakout rooms working, because this is my first time, we'll also do a breakout room session and we'll have sharing. And just put your mind at ease. If you think this is going to be one of those workshops where I sting you at the end for sales or I push something on you, don't worry, it's not going to happen. I will share my website and a booking form if you do want to have a session with me for free and just try out coaching, but there's really no pressure at all. The purpose here is to serve. So with that, let's all agree some agreements together, so that we're really showing up with the right mindset for this session. And I can see we've got Leanne joining us.
Hi,
Leanne.
everyone.
Hi, nice to meet you, Leanne.
Very nice to meet you too.
Can we just hear a little bit about where you're calling from and a little bit about you?
Calling from Singapore. My name is Leanne Robes. I wear quite a few hats. I'm not a morning person. So kind of struggling a little bit right now. I am the co-founder of an organization called She Loves Tech. We are the world's largest startup competition and accelerator program for women in technology. I have teams and operations in 30 countries for She Loves Tech. And then I wear a different hat as an advisor for different companies, a lot for startups. So I mentor different tech startups through different accelerator programs, such as Facebook and Singapore Tourism Board's Tech Accelerator. And then also I'm an advisor for Microsoft.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing, Leanne. I think that Brooke mentioned you, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, perfect. So lovely to have you on board. We were just about to start with some agreements. I'm going to read out a couple of statements and I want us all to agree to this so that we're really showing up in the right frame of mind for ourselves and for each other. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you to signal your agreement just by raising your hand. Yeah, so the first one is, no one needs fixing in this session. This is a completely judgment-free zone. It's all about compassionate awareness. So we're going to be really opening our mind and exploring inwards. This session is more about strengths, but whatever is uncovered, no one needs fixing. Okay, brilliant. And we're all equally powerful. So we're going to each allow each other the space to explore and just hold that space for each other. Okay, brilliant. And I'm going to ask you to show up fully and authentically, okay? Don't hide anything. This is as much for yourself as it is for the rest of us. So we're going to be showing up authentically and vulnerably and as ourselves. Okay, brilliant. And the last one is, if there is spot coaching during this session, my objective is to serve you, not to please you, because I'm sure there's lots of people out there who can say yes to you, but that's not my job. My job is to lean in when I hear something that doesn't sound 100% or where I feel there's something behind it. So if you're okay with that, just let me know. Okay, and I will always ask your permission first. Okay, Joy, Shout if there's anything you object to, because I can't see your face.
Thank you. Thank you.
I thought what we could do is start off with a little exercise, which will help us ground ourselves in the moment and really, kickstart the moment. But also it's a visualization, an NLP exercise. So I don't know how much you know about NLP. It stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's all about the art and science of excellence. And it's really about modeling excellent behavior and looking at yourself from the best possible angle and stepping into that behavior, that mindset from yourself or also from the others. So we'll start off with like drop into a little meditation, and then we'll tag in a mindset visualization at the end. So everyone okay with that? Okay.
Yep.
So then I'm going to invite you, if you feel comfortable, to just close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. And really just take a moment to notice and acknowledge this time and this space that you're giving yourself to be present and to connect into your body and your own inner wisdom. Take a couple of deep breaths, noticing how your chest or your abdomen expands and contracts, rises on the in-breath and falls on the out-breath. And try and keep your back straight, your spine straight, yeah? And keep your neck stacked on top of your spine. And just notice any tension that you might be holding in your shoulders. Take a couple of deep breaths, send that focus there, send that attention there. And as you breathe in, just notice any tension in the rest of your body. Notice the weight of yourself upon your sit bones and the heaviness of your legs and the touch of your feet against the floor. And as you hear my voice, you notice your body is starting to relax. You're noticing the tension between your shoulders unspool. You're feeling the tension in your neck just release. You're noticing the tension ease off in your jaw and in your forehead. And on this next few in-breaths, I want you to focus on breathing in clarity, awakeness, focus. Just notice what happens when you breathe that in, how your mind feels sharper, whilst your body feels more relaxed. Focus on clarity on the in-breath and relaxation on the out-breath. Perfectly in balance, perfectly present. And in your mind's eye now, I want you to visualize somebody who loves you, who really, really loves you. And they're standing in front of you and they're looking at you with a great big smile in their eyes. And I want you to just notice as they're watching you, I want you to be there receiving their love. Just notice the feelings that they have towards you and how that makes you feel. And allow yourself to receive that fully. Now I want you to walk towards them, walk behind them, almost as if you've cloned yourself. And I want you to step into their body so that you're seeing through their eyes and you're looking at yourself through their eyes. And I want you to notice all the things that you love, or that they love and admire about you. accentuate those feelings. Just really notice. And notice where you feel that in your body. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, step out of their body, come back to yourself, and then come back into the room. Would you like a moment just to jot down some of the things that you noticed about yourself? We're going to be compiling a long list of your strengths today. Okay. Is there anything anybody would like to share? No obligations?
I could share.
Okay, Joy.
I think when I think of somebody, I could think of a lot of people. Yeah. But the thing is, I think it's very a few mixed feelings for me, because some of them I've not seen them for like a while, right? Because of like lockdown or like being in different places. So I also feel like some people, I feel like, I think kind of like relate to the topic of this workshop, right? I think they love me, but they also sometimes, misunderstand me, or they try to change me in certain ways. So I feel like sometimes the love, like, from them is a bit controlling. But yeah, so I had a few like mixed feelings. So that's why I had lots of feelings going on just now. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. What were the positive feelings that you felt coming from them?
Yeah, I think they care about me. They like try to look after me. Yeah.
And what was it that they admired about you?
I think they admire that I am very like persistent, and yeah, like kind of a bit of fearless. But I think this also like has the flip side of sometimes they think that I should be more careful in certain situations.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing, Joy. Maybe jot down fearless and persistent. Yeah. Any other shares? Were you able to distill the qualities about yourself that they saw in you? Brian, you were in there for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so let's go on to the next exercise. Okay, and it goes like this. I want you to think of a few hobbies or activities, right, that you love or that you're good at. Okay, pick one in your mind and then ask yourself, what is it about these that I enjoy? And how do I put my strengths? What strengths do I have that I would use for these hobbies? So for example, if it's gardening, it could be patience, it could be resilience, it could be discipline, And the reason I'm choosing hobbies is because I want to stay away from the usual desk or office strengths, like I'm great at Excel or PowerPoint or presenting, And I really want to uncover your character strengths, right? The parts within you, indomitably you, that are strong, that shine, yeah? So let's do this. I'm going to try put us into breakout rooms or breakout groups, and maybe just have 5 minutes where you can chat and then report back. You can each take a turn explaining what that hobby is, what it is that you enjoy, and your strengths. Sound good? All right. I've not done breakout rooms before. I'm going to create 3, and you'll be in 2 groups. Okay. Perfect. Here we go. 5 minutes.
Thanks for letting me know. Hi.
Hello. I hope you don't. Can I be a fly on the wall?
Of course.
Definitely.
Okay. So, Charlotte, you want to start? What are your hobbies?
I mean, hobbies. The
I'm
first
actually,
thing. Sorry.
I'm actually struggling even with this question of what are your hobbies?
I know. Well, I do have a lot of things that I enjoy doing, but I'm kind of struggling distilling strengths from that are. But anyway, the first thing that actually came to mind is hiking and reading. So I love to hike and I love to read. I guess I'll focus on the hiking one.
Yeah.
So hiking / running, just being outside and going for kind of a long walk. And when not in Singapore, hiking, which obviously isn't very possible here. I guess in terms of strengths, like what I really enjoy about that is being, is kind of being outside and having kind of informal interactions with people, which might sound a bit odd, but I just feel whenever I'm feeling a bit low or, you know, having a difficult day, whenever I go outside and you kind of say hi to the neighbor, or you stop and pet a dog, or I go with my partner and we have long chats. Just that feeling of being outside and being in the sun, that really helps. I'm not sure which strength that applies to, but I guess.
What quality about you makes it easy to just informally chat to people that you meet in your hikes?
Well, I guess being quite social and open-minded, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms of strengths, I guess also, like, I do get energy from being active and moving, which I guess also translates into my kind of daily life in terms of strengths, that I am quite a I want to say energetic, but that's not always true. So I'm not sure. But being active makes me feel energetic. I'll put it like that.
So what about the actual hiking? What makes you enjoy? Whereabouts do you go? You know,
I guess it's having a goal, and the physical aspect of it, just having. Yeah, it's having a goal and knowing. Okay, I'm going to walk from there to there. I'm going to do that many kilometers, and I know it's going to feel good. So that's what I'm going to do. It's very action driven.
So I'm realizing the time. It's already 3:40.
Yeah.
I think we could do more, but so far I'm hearing Great with people, open-minded, active, goal-orientated, and resilient.
Wow, what a show off.
Yeah, amazing. What about
Sorry.
you, Leanne?
Yeah.
Okay, so I struggle with it because, you know, naturally I would have said something like travel or but I realized that maybe that's not really a hobby. So I think that I guess a lot of things that I do find enjoyment of is really just helping people. So that has to do with kindness, compassion, being able to connect with people, being giving.
Brilliant. And time efficient.
Sorry, and
Look, we still
I'm
have
just
another
babbling
half.
on.
No, I wasn't inferring that, Charlotte, by any means. And to
No,
me,
I know.
with hiking as well, I hear all about sense of adventure, which is also something, because I'm passionate about reading. That's my default. I'm better close all the rooms because that gives a minute.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Seconds to leave. Oh, okay. Yeah, so reading is really about imagination and knowledge, thirst for knowledge, and always learning and creativity. All of those come for reading for me, definitely.
Yeah,
okay.
Same.
So I will see you back in the main room, Charlotte.
Oh, sounds good.
It's okay, Alden. Yeah, I thought I had another minute, and I was looking forward to hearing.
No, me too. And I don't know what I thought that said in the middle, but I took us out of there. Anyway, to finish, what I was going to say is I'm working toward now actually becoming a financial advisor, which I have done in the past, but a lot more experience now over the last few years. So gonna go back to that. Yep.
You know what? We forgot to talk about our hobbies.
I think we could have used a bit more time.
5 minutes went by pretty quickly. I won't lie.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to expand that just in my own notes for 8 minutes or even 10 minutes. What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
Be good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So do you want to share any strengths that came up for you? Just jot them down. Take a minute to jot them down on your pad. We're really looking at the qualities of your character strengths. So the next part, I'm going to just ask some questions and just write down the answers. Yeah, and we'll use it as a reflective practice. I want you to think about in what parts of your life you have had the most success. And I don't want you to think necessarily in terms of income or career. You know, it could be anything that you've achieved: friendships, knowledge, relationships. Yeah. So what about yourself has allowed you to be successful in that area? So just take some time to think that through. I'm going to do that too. Okay. So as you look at this list of qualities, yeah, what have you learned about yourself? What are the key ones that stand out for you? Can we get some sharing? We'll do a round. Does anybody want to volunteer to go first?
Sure.
I'll go first.
Oh, go ahead.
Brilliant.
And then 3 coming up.
Should we do then, the three of you are actually right next to each other on my screen. So should we go first with Charlotte?
Sure. I guess throughout the 2 exercises, what I'm seeing is a sense of adventure and open-mindedness and independent in terms of kind of qualities that come up. Is that enough, or do I need to elaborate?
No, that's
more?
great.
Okay.
So how much would you have categorized yourself as adventurous, open-minded and independent? Is this a new thing for you, or is this something that you're quite familiar with?
I guess it is something I'm quite familiar with, but it is good to see how it does keep coming back, because sometimes you do forget it when you have a bit of a difficult moment or a low period, then you tend to forget about those strengths. So it is good to kind of see the thread of this coming back throughout these different exercises. But it's not entirely new. I guess it's just a good reminder.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Charlotte. Eldon?
So, I mean, relationships, I think, especially professional relationships over the last several years is somewhere where I've found, I guess, the most success. And working with people, just being genuine, just being me. I think a lot of people, I don't know if it's an age thing as I've gotten older or what, but just being myself, being genuine and considerate of, you know, I'm probably going to them because I need something from them, but I'm also mindful that I also need to be able to bring something back to them as well. So being kind of, you know, considerate of their needs as well as my own, and just being myself. I think genuine, caring, compassionate about the people that I work with.
Brilliant. I also heard mindful in there, which is a great quality.
Oh, I did say that, didn't I? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Thanks, Eldon. And
Yeah.
Brian?
My turn?
Yep.
All right. One of the recurring themes I saw was resilient, caring, strong, dedicated, empathetic, and positive.
Great. So were any of those new ones to your list?
No, none of them were new. Those are all qualities that I've been quite aware of for a while, but
Okay.
it was good to see them in different aspects of my life, as where before I only thought of them in my professional career.
Okay. And I'm wondering in what way, what it was that your loved ones saw in you, those qualities, and what ways they can add to your list as well. Can you share?
I think they all see that I'm very hardworking and that I'm moral. I have a good sense of doing what's right, and that I'm very caring, care about the well-being of others and how I can best contribute to helping them. And I'm thoughtful.
Brilliant. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Georgina.
Leanne, how about you?
In my list, I have giving, compassionate, passionate, so compassionate and passionate, able to connect with people, and influential.
Great. And what was it that you saw through your loved one's eyes?
That I was kind, giving, compassionate, and able to connect with people.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Leanne. Joy, we're doing a full circle.
Yeah, so I'm I'm persistent, fearless, creative, and resourceful.
Great. And Damien?
I had open-minded,
Yeah.
confident, optimistic, resilient, authentic, mindful, helpful.
Brilliant. What a great group we've got here. Can solve all the world's problems with all these strengths. Amazing. Okay. So let's take a moment now to just then reflect on these strengths that you have. Okay. And I'm going to ask some questions and I just want you to jot down your answers. Okay. So pick your top 3 strengths. Yeah. And ask yourself, what does this strength tell me about myself? And the reason I ask it in this way is it doesn't just tell me, yes, I'm resilient or authentic. It goes one level deeper. What does it tell me about myself?
I have a question. So when you say top 3 strengths, are you talking about, you know, the strengths that are kind of the strongest strengths, or the strengths that you want to basically that you want to, I guess, pick as your top?
Oh, okay. Good question. Thanks, Leanne. I would say as you look at your list of strengths, whichever ones jump out at you that just resonate with your heart. Yeah. And if you have time, then use a few more strengths as well. What does this tell you about yourself? What does it tell you about the way you see the world? And what does it tell you about the way you see others as well? Okay. So the next question is, when do you use these strengths? I want you to think about circumstances or situations that you use them in the everyday, or situations or circumstances where you've really leveraged them in the past. And notice how you feel when you use this strength in those scenarios. Okay, and then the last question, in what ways do these strengths reflect who you really are?
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely, Damien.
Is that as you see yourself?
Sorry, what was that?
Is that as you see yourself, or as you think everyone else sees yourself when you say
It's-
who you really are?
As you see yourself. How does that reflect you at the core of who you are? Great question. And when you're ready, should we take some sharing? Should we go the other way around? Joy, would you be willing to start?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I think that for me, I think, okay, so there are lots of questions. So for me, I would like to think that my strengths actually in reflection that make me quite an entrepreneur. And then I think that sometimes with this strength, I can appear to be like extremely crazy. And I sometimes don't see the reality as it is. I always see it as where I can get it to. But sometimes people think that I'm like crazy because of that, right? I don't see the reality, but like I see kind of the vision where I want to get it to, and I would really just work towards it. And I think that like because of that, I'm also quite high rational, because I also only like do it because I see I can do it. It's not that, oh, I do it like some impossible things. And I think that so because of that, I also in people's interactions, I think I also quite value people who share the similar strengths with me, that they are also like somewhat fearless, creative, and persistent, and resourceful. however, like I also value a lot, like I think if people don't share this type of strengths with me, I think I will also value that they can support me in my pursuit. Yeah, so I think that my strength manifests a lot when almost like when there's a crisis or when like there's something needs to be changed, right? Like if everything is going great, then like maybe I need to like tone down all my strengths. Yeah, so so like for example, when a lot of people like get lost or like they feel stuck, then I can quickly help them to get out, because I can see some like path or like I have some vision, and I'm very like persistent, I'm fearless. So I feel like sometimes that kind of attitude do give people a lot of assurance, as if like why I'm like so persistent or so confident in like what I want to do. And I think that especially in times of crisis, people do want to see something that like assure them. Right. So I think that this stress made me feel quite centered, and that like kind of I have a sense of mission. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Joy. So I'm hearing, you know, entrepreneurial, driven. And also one of the things I notice about you, Joy, is that you always notice two sides of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you're good in a crisis and you're able to reassure others, also, I think perspective is another strength. And I also had confident in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Thank you. Damien, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, so I anchored out of the strengths that we talked about earlier. I anchored it in helpfulness, confidence, and mindfulness. And just looking at that first question about what that told me about myself in terms of helpful, it told me that I get a kick, I get some sort of pleasure out of being asked to help or feeling helpful or being able to contribute, you know, wanting to help people. And that's obviously both in the professional setting, but outside of that, sort of bleeding into, you know, professional bleeding into personal and just generally. The confidence told me that, you know, I'm comfortable in myself, that I'm able to walk into a room, social setting, you know, strike up a conversation that doesn't, you know, perturb me in any way as I observe in others, perhaps. The mindfulness, which is probably a more recent one, is that I'm aware of my own thoughts, that I'm reflective, that I can sort of take a step back and just think about what is it that's going through my mind. Translating that into what that told me about the world, I don't know if these were the sort of the first things that bubbled up, is that, you know, change happens, resilience helps, there's no single viewpoint. That was my sort of interpretation of how those character strengths make me think about that, and what it tells me about others is that, you know, people need help or can benefit from help, that people can, you know, want to be listened to. Again, that was sort of an instinctive reaction. And then moving on to the next question you asked, when do you use these strengths? Both everyday and leveraged in the past. If I think about everyday practice, I say yes a lot. There's very little that I say no to. If someone asks me, can you help? Then I figure there's a reason that they think I can help, and therefore I'm the right person to do that. And even if it's just to be able to say, I can't, but I know a person who can, that's typically how I approach that. You know, I can do something even if it's the smallest thing. The mindfulness bound up in daily meditation, gratitudes, journaling, just taking a step back and thinking, you know, there is so much that you take for granted. The unleveraged in the past, I think it's been through, you know, resilience in terms of job change, relationship bumps, steering back on track, social confidence in terms of networking, building networks, maintaining networks. And then, yeah, how does it make me feel when I'm using those? Track, complete, in the groove, moving in the right direction, moving forward. And then green tick.
Sorry, Damien, you're
How do I
glitching a
perceive
little
myself?
bit. Could you just
Pretty
say
well.
that? Yeah, could you go back say that sentence again, because it glitched. How you see yourself?
Yeah, the last one was, in what ways do these strengths reflect who you really are, how you see yourself?
Yeah.
I'd say pretty well. I mean, I do see myself as helpful, confident, adaptable, resilient, able to change, willing to learn and grow. Sort of seems that it came full circle in a way.
Yeah. And I loved how you leveraged your strengths to come out with some really good insights there. Like the world is constantly changing, resilience helps, people want to be listened to, you know, great stuff. Thank you so much, Damien.
Thank you.
Eldon?
Hello. So the three that I chose were genuine, could call it authentic, mindful, I usually call it awareness, and compassionate. So I care, and I wrote down too, like I care about, and I was talking about building relationships, caring about positive outcomes for others. It's not like, I mean, obviously me casa su casa in most relationships. So, and to, I'm not quite sure where this came from, the phrase, I guess, itself, but I wrote fill their cup. So how I see, you know, thinking how I see the world in relation to those things in a lot of spaces right now in need of compassion. So, you know, and people looking for, in various ways, looking for genuine leadership. So, you know, for me to be someone to speak first, to let others know that it's okay to speak, you know, about whatever it is. You know, we might not have the same things going on, but you see it a lot on LinkedIn. We have no idea when we run into somebody at the coffee shop or wherever we run into them, what they've got going on in their life, you know, right up until that moment. So, but also letting them, by speaking first and letting them know, being genuine myself, is to let them know that they've got access to help that they weren't even aware of, that, you know, that they had. How do I feel when I use those strengths? I feel like that's how I refill my cup. And how do they reflect who I really am? Confident in my own skin. So confidence, you know, for sure. A learner and a grower, I guess.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Eldon. I love that the world needs leadership right now, and it's okay to speak up. And you could be genuine and authentic. By serving others, you fill your own cup. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Leanne, do you want to go next?
So the three that I chose were passionate, influential, and able to connect with people. And what this told me about myself was that I'm very impact driven and that I'm energized when I'm able to make a difference. So I really see the world as a whole, a unit, and very connected. And the way I see others is I'm very accepting of people. I place a lot of emphasis on relationships. But what I realized was sometimes then I expect others to, especially those who are in my inner circle, to be there for me as I've been there for them. So this can lead to disappointment sometimes. I tend to use these strengths all the time, especially, and this has kind of really allowed me to build trust very quickly and very easily with people of many different levels. And I really feel extremely connected and very purposeful as a result of my strengths.
Amazing. I think you touched on a really good point, because in some shape or form, we've been talking about energy exchange the whole time. So filling each other's cups, and likewise. And when you're being accepting of others, and when you're looking for impact and you're trying to help them, and it's all give, and we don't receive back, there's an energy imbalance. So yes, really great awareness of disappointment. And there's one word that I might leave you with just to ponder on that, Leanne, and that's expectations. Yeah. And
Thank
circle
you.
back to me if you want to explore that more. Happy to do that. Yeah. Okay. Brian?
All right. The three that I went with would be moral, hardworking, and thoughtful. And I think those allow me to see the world more clearly, not to be so reactionary, but rather to respond to situations rather than just knee-jerk reactions. And when faced with adversity, I like to use my strengths to help other people. Whenever I see someone that's in need of help, I do whatever I can to do that. And helping people makes me feel good. I feel that's what we're all put on this earth to do, is help each other. And I think that reflects my character and how I was raised. And I think that's an accurate reflection of my belief system.
I'm hearing how moral, hardworking, and thoughtful has allowed you to be proactive instead of reactive, and to really help others when in times of need, and in a way that resonates with the way that you're brought up. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Charlotte?
So I've chosen the words adventurous, open-minded, and energetic. I guess for adventurous, the way I see it is that I embrace change and, new things, new experiences. It's also shown me that I can do hard things and kind of get past it, even though it doesn't seem like that in the moment. Independent and always kind of trying to looking for new and different things and experiences and people. In terms of open-minded, I like to connect with people. I enjoy diversity. I enjoy different kind of stories. I love listening to different kind of stories. And I guess that's also why I like kind of reading so much, because it opens up kind of a whole world of, like you said, imagination and stories. I guess stories is a word that comes back a lot for me. I love stories, which is why I'm also in advertising, I guess. And then my last word was also energetic. So overall, an optimistic, happy person. I love being outside and kind of also moving my body. There's also a physical aspect to it, and feeling healthy. I guess how that has manifested in my life is, and where that has served me in my life is having moved abroad from the age of like 25 and now 32, and having lived in New York and now in Singapore. So having been able to do those kind of experiences, and working in advertising and in production, which does require kind of a constant change and flexibility to unexpected situations and conflicts and issues. So those strengths have kind of served me well there. I think how that makes me feel is, it makes me feel kind of hopeful and excited about life and about people and about my own life and about what else is next to come and where else will I live and who else will I meet. And it just makes me feel, excited. And then in terms of the last question, I'm actually not really sure how to answer that one. Yeah, I'm actually not really sure how to answer that one. I was kind of trying to think about that one. I guess, yeah, I didn't really write anything very insightful for that.
That's all right.
So yeah.
So I'm hearing it's all about movement for you. It's all about movement and learning and growing and agility and responsiveness, embracing change, new adventures, learning more, discovery. I hear it's very kinesthetic, very expansive.
Yeah.
Your strengths. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So we have time for one last mini exercise. And this is really putting your strength into action. So the reason that I asked you, how do you feel when you do these strengths, is when you're in alignment, you know, when your goals actually align with your strengths, right? People naturally put forth more effort. They're more likely to have success. So really, it's about aligning your strengths into your goals, you know? And so what I would like you to do is I want you to think about a goal you have for your future, a great, big, audacious, big, fat, hairy goal, okay? And I want you to spend a couple of minutes thinking about how you can really use your strengths to achieve this. And that could be your top 3, or it can be all of them, whatever feels right to you. Okay, I think we've got time for one more round of sharing. Who would like to go first? Great, Leanne.
Okay, so this, I had to pause a little bit. This was harder than some of the other questions for me. So when I thought about my goal, one of the models I go back to a lot is the Ikigai model, right? So Japanese model, thinking about, what the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what makes you money. So when I think about that goal in this Ikigai model, for me, then it means, growing She Loves Tech into something that's not just high impact, because currently, we've made a lot of impact, but we haven't really solved. We are a nonprofit, so we've been so focused on the impact and not on the revenue. So we've really kind of struggled financially to sustain, especially how quickly and how widely we've grown. So really growing She Loves Tech into a profitable, high revenue company. And then I guess when I think about the alignment, using my strengths of being able to connect people, being passionate and influential, I see this as empowering people to align with this goal, because we know that we can't do this alone. And, being able to get a lot of people excited about this mission and to be able to help us to reach this goal.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Leanne. Amazing. Okay, who else would like to go next? Eldon, to you.
Sure. So for me, about to embark on a new career, a new old career, as a financial advisor, the first thing that came to mind was in our region in southwestern Ontario, basically everything southwest of Toronto, which is a bigger spot, to be the leading year one advisor in the southwestern Ontario for our company. But then actually, I kind of gave it some thought after I wrote kind of how I would do that. And I thought how I would do that is to share my why. Why am I coming back into it, and why do I feel that it is a noble and worthy profession. But then after I went back and looked at the first part, I thought, you know what, statistically be damned. So my wife is not entirely comfortable with me now going into a role that doesn't necessarily have a consistent paycheck from week to week. So actually, you know what, instead of leading year one advisors, to do well enough that a year from now that she has gained some sense of comfort in me doing it, as opposed to being terrified that there will be weeks where I might not get a check.
So in what ways can you use your strengths to help the situation with your wife and her?
Well, that one will be statistical. That will be paychecks. That will be doing well at the job.
Down to the mother.
So no, the idea of up and down paychecks, not a consistent same number all the time, absolutely terrifies her.
Okay.
And it doesn't me. So I'm not at all concerned about that. I know the industry, I'm comfortable in it. She's not, she doesn't come from that, so that's okay. But instead of worrying about getting a watch and a book or whatever the hell they give the leader of at the end of the year, it's just more to be doing well enough for my clients, to be doing well enough to make her feel comfortable with me doing this as well. The goal of this is this is my last job, and I'm 48, so this is going to last a long time.
So in what way does that overlap with your why? I'm not quite sure I heard.
So, well, in order to do well in this business, you have to, if you help, I mean, I'm stealing this phrase, but if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And so I think, giving financial advice, whether it's, I mean, I could dive deep, estate planning and insurance planning and investmenting and all of those things. But at the end of the day, people just want to know, are they going to be okay? Am I going to be able to retire when I want to? If anything happens to me, is my family okay? And I can help people answer all those questions. And my why is seeing enough people go through not having any clue when their parents died what was in place. If anything, it was a mess, and often that happens. And watching my mother go through it with the death of both her parents at separate times kind of triggered me in the first place to want to be able to help people make one phone call, to have someone help them take care of it at the worst time of their life. Really, that's the main driver for me in this, is that people don't know what they don't know, so they can call me because I know.
Yeah. I'm hearing clarity, reassurance, security.
Yes.
Yeah. Great.
All of those things.
Okay. Charlotte? Oh, Damien, you raise your hand?
Sorry, Eldon, just something that sparked me there, which I thought was quite interesting, was you're advising people on how to best structure their finances so that they will basically live a worry-free life. And
that's the goal.
and your wife is the one person who seems to need that advice, and you're the best person to give it, to convince her that you're not living paycheck to paycheck without security, that you're in a position of actually being able to say, just as I advise my clients, I can advise you. Is that something that you can sort of work on, or say, look, trust me, because I know what I'm doing? This, I'm the best person to advise us on how we can make this transition, because that's precisely what I'm helping other people to do.
Yes, I agree. And for her, it's a fear, I think, that she's always just had a job, as many of us do. You go to work every 2 weeks, you get the same paycheck, it's the same size. And I think that I've gone through phase one of this already, just getting her to, not to say, when you make any career choice, it would be helpful if you've got your spouse on board with whatever that is. And for this, it's been a couple of very deep conversations to get her to a point to have enough faith in me to let me try, not to let me do it. And so
I guess,
think,
I'm sorry, Georgina, I don't want to hijack.
Yeah.
I guess it's an interesting observation that if a stranger would let you advise them on their money after 1 or 2 or 3 meetings, then there's an interesting positioning there in terms of how your wife might. Sorry, I'll shut up.
No,
sorry,
I'll close that out real quick. Her issue isn't with me helping with hours, because I drive most of hers anyway. It's for me to see enough other people who want me to do that for them is her concern.
Great insight though, Damien. Thank you for sharing it. And Eldon, I leave it to you whether or not you want to explore using the using your strengths to create that reassurance, and enough other people. So yeah, we can explore that further. So just checking in on the time. We've got 5 minutes. Does anyone else want to share? Joy?
I can go. No, go ahead, Tracy.
Yeah, just quite quickly. So I think we did the strength survey in our session the other day. And I think that one strength that I said that I didn't think it was my strength, but actually show out there, I think it was like social intelligence. So I think that with some of the strengths I identify very strongly, I think that will help to make me a more collaborative person with other people. Yeah.
Thanks, Joy. And Damien?
Yeah, so I think in terms of the big audacious goals, which is, to grow my practice, but ultimately to be able to be financially free by a certain age, able to work on my own terms to balance life with family and friends and work. and to get out of just doing legal work in the space. I think the strengths, the strengths that I apply there sort of in some way imitate what Eldon was talking about. It's the resilience, knowing that if you take a leap, it's going to be fine. You will find a way. The confidence to do so in the first place. As I sit here right now, and if I think forward to where I am a year from now, the amplifying the use of helpfulness and confidence to get myself out there more, to help more people, to build my profile even further, to advertise myself as being the helpful guy, if you like. Those are ways in which I think I can get to that ultimate goal. Yeah.
Great. I'm hearing trust in yourself, trust in others, trust in, the whole process working out. So brilliant. Thank you. And Brian, is there anything that you wanted to add?
A lot of what Eldon said resonated with me. I feel I'm in the same position in many ways. I'm not a financial advisor like he is, but I feel that I'm dealing with a lot of the same pressures. To be honest, the last couple of years have been pretty hard on me. After getting laid off from Seagate, which was a shock because I was always a top performer. I was naive. I had never had to search for a job before. My wife wanted to rejoin the workforce, so I decided to just stay home with the kids. And I thought that as soon as I put my resume out there, the job offers just come pouring in. And unfortunately, it was quite a wake-up call. I found that it was much harder to find that next step in my career than I anticipated. Tried my hand at a couple small startup companies, and unfortunately, things just didn't work out there. So that was very humbling to try my best at 2 small startup companies and get let go so quickly. And then with the pandemic, it's just been setback after setback, getting job offers and then finding out that the jobs disappeared because of the pandemic. It's been a trying experience, and it's really put a lot of pressure on my family, and my wife's been holding it together, and I'm just actively searching for that next step in my career so that I can provide the life for my family that they deserve.
And in what ways can you really use your strengths to do that?
Find that next role and exceed expectations and move up the corporate ladder.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So what I'd like you to invite you all to do is to think about how you can deploy these strengths in everyday lives. Now, some of them might come really natural to you, others might not, but come from that space where you say, okay, what if I was to step into this particular strength, right? In this scenario, in what way would that change how I show up, for myself, for others, and just really put that hat on, from that space of authenticity or from that space of passion or that space of resilience, and choose a couple of strengths throughout the day and practice putting that hat on, and then just see how that changes how you step up, and then notice the impact that it has. So how are we doing for time? I really want to acknowledge each and every one of you and to thank you so much for joining so late in the morning or so late in the afternoon / evening, respectively. And if you would like to reach out, I'm going to just drop my details in the chat room here. Those of you who've coached with me before already know what it's like, but Leanne, if you haven't and you do want to try having a 90-minute deep dive coaching session with me, it's all free. It's really just to explore if coaching's right for you and if it's a good fit. My schedule is in there, my website's in there. And if you guys aren't already part of my Facebook group, then I'd love you to join. It's a small private community, very like-minded thinkers who, very much like you all, are highly authentic, genuine, resilient, passionate, kind, and are here to serve. So I acknowledge all of you and all of your strengths. We're just going to say goodbye with just one last word that starts with I am, and I want you to put your top strength in there. So I am a good communicator. Brian?
I'm hardworking.
Yeah, brilliant. Joy?
I am creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, me?
Yep.
Oh, I'm passionate.
Brilliant. Damien?
I'm the one who can help.
Say again?
I'm the one who can help.
Brilliant. Alvin?
I am genuine.
Amazing. Yes, you all are. And I really want to acknowledge you for that. So I will send you all a copy of this video. I have your email address, and wish you all a great rest of the week. And thank you for joining.
Pleasure to meet you all, and thank you so much for hosting, Georgina.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
George.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.